Willie, thank you for your time today. It's a busy time and it's an exciting time in American politics. How are you feeling about the election campaign now?
I'm having more fun than I've had in a long time in the world of politics because it was very dull when it was only uh, the Republican potential nominee, or I should call him now the nominee, uh, Trump, and the Democratic uh, incumbent president who wanted to be the nominee. And they were both pretty dull. It's actually a contest now, and at least for the first 3 weeks, it's been a contest. We don't know what's going to happen over the next several weeks before the 85th birthday, which is Election Day.
And you have some very special insights. When did you first meet Kamala Harris?
Oh, I don't recall the actual time that I met the VP. Probably early 90s.
Okay. What were your very first impressions of Kamala?
I thought she was a brilliant, gorgeous woman.
And you saw something special in her as a prosecutor?
Well, initially, I actually first met her at a wedding of all, some girlfriend of hers. Law partners of mine's daughter got married, and she was present there, and I had not been introduced to her, but I was introduced to her there. I'd heard of her. She lived in the East Bay, over in Alameda County, and she was a prosecutor there, and I had heard from my fellow criminal defense lawyers, because that's the business that I was in, as a criminal defense lawyer, including being an elected official. And they were telling me about this woman who you don't want to challenge in representing the client.
So she had a reputation back then for being tough.
Very tough. Not just tough, but very tough, and always over-prepared.
So thorough?
Absolutely.
And was she talented?
Very, very talented, and was someone who I would want to meet.
And when you did get to know her, what was she like as a person?
I found out that they had actually not adequately described her because she was more than what they had said on the talent side, and that she clearly had just as much of an interest in the world of politics as she had in the world of law and prosecution.
How do you think her time as a prosecutor and then as district attorney here and then as Attorney General really shaped her to become the Vice President and now presidential candidate?
I think she is well situated and well qualified based upon her multiplicity of experiences, particularly since she has met the challenge in the political arena through 3 really tough times. The first, she was a candidate against the incumbent district attorney of San Francisco, who had been a part of a team electing me to the mayorship of San Francisco. Post that, she went through, I think, several processes to beat him. I think the recount was up 2 or 3 times. And then I think that she subsequently decided to run for the AG of the state of California, a very important position. No woman had ever held that position. No woman had ever held a DA position. So suddenly you've got her doing 2 things that no other woman had ever done. In that Attorney General's quest, it was against a very popular Republican from Los Angeles County who had been the Attorney General, who had been the district attorney in LA County for a very long time. her race in that regard was a person who had to not only get the votes, but she had to raise the money to get that contest going. 39 million people in the state of California, and she had to try with all parts of California, and she did. She generated a great response, and so suddenly she wins the attorney generalship. It was amazing, frankly, because the election is like on a Tuesday. I don't think she was announced the winner for 12 or 13 days, simply because the count was so slow and so laborious and so complicated from the multiplicity from the 58 counties in California. Yet she won that. And then she went on to become a very distinguished attorney general in America. She challenged the administration of Barack Obama on the housing crisis in this state, and she got other quality attorney generals from other states to join her in the effort to keep the federal government from doing something inconsistent with good judgment for states. And she led that fight and won that fight and got the opportunity for greater settlement figures for multiple other states with multiple attorney generals participating. And she became the star, so to speak. And that's why she began to develop the national respect.
It's clear you're proud of her.
Very proud of her. Very proud of her.
Does she owe her career to you? You were her mentor. You helped her along the way.
She doesn't owe her career to anyone except herself. Maybe a mother who was of great guidance, obviously. But her work ethic exceeds that of almost any politician whom I have ever met.
Is that right?
Yes.
And you've met a few.
Yes.
When you reflect on those successful campaigns, what comes to mind about the way she operates under pressure?
First, you would never know she's under pressure. She will not demonstrate being unable to be responsive with a quality explanation. She also has the ability to quickly make you smile in the process. And what you don't know is, I suspect she's planning your demise as she smiles.
Is that right?
And that's a good quality for a quality politician.
Well, you have to be a killer, don't you?
Well, that term I won't use, but the results reflect that a killer has been there.
She's often criticized for her laugh. What do you think of her laugh?
I really think that it's signature, because she clearly enjoys the combat, and she laughs more often about the content of the combat and about some tactic that she has employed and used effectively. And she enjoys that almost as much as winning, I think.
Well, she's overcome several tough opponents in the past, as you say, but now she's up against Donald Trump.
And at the moment, 3 weeks into the contest, without it yet being a declared contest by constitutional standards, she appears to be creating a real problem for him. It's almost as if he can't fully understand and appreciate, one, that she is a woman, two, that she is extremely well qualified, and number three, that she is, of all things, a terrific prosecutor, debater, and he is clearly without the ability to match the quality of almost any prosecutor, because invariably, in every contest he's been in with a true prosecutor, he has lost.
Would she be relishing the fact that she's rattled Donald Trump?
Well, she's rattled him, not so much incidentally because of what she's done to him, but all of the qualities that he has noticed that she has and have had, plus the fact that he prepared a whole year to run against her head guy, and lo and behold, her head guy hands the ball off to her, Biden to Harris, and suddenly Trump is still prepared for Biden.
That's a whole
And he
different
doesn't
race.
seem to be able to get prepared for Harris.
So what qualities does she bring to this fight against Trump? What do you think she'll draw on in the next couple of months?
She has no problem telling the truth and being honest. Trump is without the ability in any contest to simply be honest and accurate. That's not one of the qualities that as an entertainer he possesses. He clearly should not have been successful against Hillary Clinton. When Secretary Clinton ran against him in 15-16, she clearly should have beaten him. But his antics, honed in his world of entertainment, had equipped him to entertain a public that did not have any willingness to evaluate quality if he was entertaining them. And that's what he professed, that's what he did, and that's how it worked. And he was successful. Suddenly, though, entertainment is not part of what Kamala is, or I suspect wishes to be known as. Yet, she is entertaining, and he can't handle it. And above all else, she's a woman.
And that's a problem for him.
Major problem for him. He, of all of his life, has been very contemptuous of women in every way. And he, with all his antics, mistaking your name, pronunciation, or drawing you in to his series of misrepresentations and lies. And so far, he hasn't been able to get Kamala Harris, the vice president, to buy into that.
So those are her strengths, her honesty, her prosecutorial strengths, her ability to entertain, you say. What will her challenges be? What does she have to be mindful of as she embarks on this fight?
I do think that she, over the next several weeks, will have to prove to the public all the things that I've said about her, period. And because she is so new to the exposure in all of our states, except maybe half a dozen, she will be a breath of fresh air. And if she keeps it that way, she will be successful.
Well, being undefined politically can play either way, can't it?
It affords you the opportunity to have everybody frame their own definition of who you are and what you are about. And you have to be extremely careful, however, that you don't become a one-trick pony. You don't become a person that has only one message. You've got to deal with all of the issues. And you've got to deal with those issues as if you bumped into somebody on the streets and they stopped you for directions.
A stranger who you've just met
Yes.
asking you to fix a problem or stand up for them.
Or just be responsive in the world of politics, because the profile of person seeking office or holding office goes up so dramatically with all of the methods of communications, including your organization
Of course.
here, it is clear that you really have to listen closely. And that's a talent that she has. She does listen. And what she hears, not only in your voice, but in just the sound of the delivery, in the way in which you fashion the words. And if she gets the impression of what you are trying to say to her or what you're trying to get guidance on, she'll be okay. She has that talent, and that has been a part of her success prosecuting people with jurors.
She's what we call in Australia the real deal.
Oh, she's more than the real deal, but that's a good description. And as long as she keeps it at that level, she'll be all right.
You were more than just colleagues. You dated for a time. Do you reflect fondly on that relationship?
I do. She was more than a date, far more than a date. She was a very good friend.
Yeah.
And still is a good friend.
It's clear she was very special to you.
Yes.
And it was controversial at the time. Was that difficult to manage?
It wasn't controversial at all.
No?
No. It became controversial eventually when I went on to do the mayorship and she went on to become the spectacular success politically she is. That's when it became an issue. But our friendship, she was literally incredible on my behalf. When running for the mayor of San Francisco with an incumbent mayor as my opponent, and having served all those years in the halls of the legislature, some, 30, 32 years, and being literally a household name in almost every county, in having participated for 14 and a half years of fashioning all the legislative decisions and the laws that the state had created. It was controversial because of that, and all because there is still a legend of persons hoping to get even with me somehow for the things that they have suffered without the same weight coming from the things that had benefited.
The people trying to whip up controversy.
That is correct. Make up controversy.
What happens in politics.
Yes, that's what you are exposed to. You are exposed to a correction process that has no basis in fact, and the people who personify it are the Trumpites.
So much later then, when those articles came out, she slept her way to the top, all of this, that didn't worry you?
None of the above. And I'm sure it doesn't bother her, because when you know that you represent the truth, whatever lies or whatever misinterpretations or what have you that flow forward won't bother you. And you must not let it bother you.
Was she a great love?
Very much so.
There are certain loves that stay with you.
Forever.
Yeah. Do you still talk? It's clear that you still very much admire and respect her.
I don't want her burdened at all with any relationships previously that she's had with me or whomever she may have dated. I would think that she would be very free to comment in any way in which she wished to comment. I suspect, however, it'll be better if she sticks to becoming the president, and those relationships, or that relationship particularly with me, should have no bearing.
You also know her rival, Donald Trump. Have you spent some time with him?
I met him, I don't know, 30 years ago or more. because you do, in the capacity that I was in, meet probably every character in the country in one way or another. You become friends with some, and some you don't become friends with. I have last spoken to him in 97. That would be about the last time. 1997.
What were your
I have not spoken to him since then, and that was at a birthday party in Southern California.
a long time before he became president? What were your impressions of him?
I always thought he was a character, period. I did not know that he was as addicted to fiction, and fiction that he created, because I didn't see him as much of a political person. At the time that I knew him, he was a Democrat. He didn't become a Republican for many years until he decided he wanted to run for something that his philosophy would not be persuasive with Democrats.
Well, you're very well skilled in picking out people with political prowess. You didn't see that in Donald Trump?
No, I did not, because we were getting acquainted through people like Wolfgang Puck, the person who has that series of restaurants,
Yeah.
and in particular one
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, or a guy named Steve Wynn, who helped remake Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
He and Wynn gave a birthday party
And that's
for
where
Puck.
you... Okay.
That's where I first met him. And then I subsequently had lunch with him in New York 2 or 3 months after first meeting him. He needed advice on something going on in Los Angeles, and he thought I might know, and I did, and I told him, don't do it. He did it, and the next time I saw him, he thanked me because he said, you were right, I did lose money.
What stood out to you about Donald Trump, of his character, of his personality?
His business of just talk, talk, talk. I don't remember him saying anything worth remembering.
Have you ever been on a helicopter with Donald Trump?
No.
Did he make that story up?
Totally.
Really?
Well, and,
Fiction.
I suppose it might be easy for him to pick something that happened in his life and something that he heard about that happened in your life or my life. He might want to merge those things and make it appear many years later that he was a part of that. That's not unusual for a true fictional character.
If you're a presidential candidate, people will fact-check you.
That has never bothered him at all. Fact-checking is not part of what he is exposed to in his own mind.
True. So, the Kamala Harris you know, Willie, can she beat him?
She has to beat him. The country needs that defeat to take place. And she will.
There's a big difference between vice president and president. Is she up to that job?
I think President Biden, who got to know her for 3.5 years, and when he made his decision at the urging of quality Democratic leadership, he didn't consult with them. I do not know why he didn't consult with them. He made his decision primarily, I think, based upon his deceased son, Beau, who had been the Attorney General of the state of Delaware and who had been Kamala's assistant in challenging the federal government for which President Biden was vice president at that time, on the question of all the mortgage treatment that we, the people who bought houses, had been subjected to. And I think he learned a lot about Kamala Harris from and through his son. And I think he wanted to make sure that this country would be handed off to the person he had chosen to be the vice president. And that's what he did.
Well, that's brilliant. Just before I let you go, I think she's very unknown in Australia, Kamala Harris. I think she's still fairly unknown here in America. Is there any, not asking you to tell your private stories, but is there any personal stories from the time that you were together about what type of a person she was, a woman she was, the things you would do? Obviously, you'd be out to dinners and anything like that that would give some insights into her, as a person.
She, at all times, during the time that I spent with her, at all times, she was incredibly sensitive and responsive and caring so much about other people that it was amazing to watch her. And she was an incredible asset for a person named Willie Brown, who does not kind of give off the idea that I care. She made sure during my campaign for mayor that that was not the interpretation you would be left with in her presence.
So she brought out that caring side.
No question. She literally evidenced a sensitivity for others that I didn't have and still don't have.
She knows how to show love. That must have been a wild time, San Francisco, in the, what was that, early 80s?
It was the 90s,
Yeah.
And it was a great time. The city was just beginning to experience the technological revolution, which is still going on. But San Francisco was on the threshold with its neighbor from the south part of this part of the country, in this part of the state. All those people, those geniuses, were populating the area. They had not yet risen to the point where they were successful, where they were had been defined or were definable. And so it was a great time to just be here and to be a part of what clearly was the beginning of a revolution that we didn't even realize was a real revolution.
And there you were mayor, or almost mayor, with this beautiful, kind woman on your arm, and there would have been parties, and what a time.
It was a great, great time, and she had a good time.
How proud would this city be?
And
See a
that
president.
same collection of people that she left behind when she moved on to the VP, they are still in total admiration, and they are looking forward to her success as president.